What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DCD podcast, episode number 12. Today we're joined by the newly shaved, the bald man's back, purple swordfish. Welcome back, bald man.
Hey, I cut my hair. You were
Yeah.
saying that was our listener question from you. When are you going to shave your head again? And it has occurred. So I actually did it, I think, a day before you submitted that question. How are you, Andy?
Good, Yeah, this is the second time recording this podcast. I'll be honest with people. We kind of had some internet trouble.
Yep.
But, Red Sox clinched the AL East. Pop those gold bottles, baby. 103 wins. Take down the Yankees. Red Sox are kind of good.
When you said pop those gold bottles on Twitter, it was
104
shockingly
wins, sorry.
it was shockingly close to when the Cleveland Browns scored that last touchdown last night. So I thought you were talking about that. Yeah.
There was like 4 minutes when I was watching both games at the same time.
Yeah.
And because I had to watch Baker Mayfield and my boys. It was like 4 minutes left in the Browns game when I tweeted that exactly.
Yeah, it was like maybe because I was watching the game on a bit of a delay, probably a couple minutes, and you said pop those gold bottles, and I'm like, oh, I think Baker Mayfield got him down the field for a touchdown because they had just hit the red zone when I saw that.
He did, and then they got the 2-point conversion.
It was pretty impressive.
They said they didn't copy the Philly special, but they kind of did.
Well, there's been a lot of plays like that over the course of history, but I think that overall his performance last night, we'll probably talk about it a little bit later, but it was quite impressive considering he did not go into that game expecting to start, much less play. So, man. And sorry about the internet problems this afternoon.
But speaking of the week, there's been some big news in your territory.
Oh yeah, man. I've been talking about it on Twitter. I know I talked about it on stream. It's been I hate to over exaggerate, but it really is kind of a life changer for me. You guys know, if you follow the channel and if you follow my streams where I talk a little bit more about my personal life than I probably should. I bought a Miata about 5 years ago, a little bit over 5 years ago. I was completely upside down on it for a while. Just a really bad deal, really bad loan, really bad interest rate. Never should have purchased the car. Always think before you buy something big, guys. That'd be my life advice for you. Sleep on it. I didn't. Made an impulse buy. And I finally got out from it. It wasn't running. I sold it as is to somebody. I sold it for a couple $100 less than Blue Book value. And the couple $100 was to account for them. They did manage to get it up and running. They did have to put a couple $100 into it, but they did get it up and running. So I was like, you can have it. This is the price I want. And I washed my hands of it. So it's been a good week. Had a couple good Madden streams. Finished Mutt Master. Got the Mutt Master Shazier.
Congrats.
Yeah. Somebody's got changed their avatar on Twitter because of that.
Well,
for a week.
Someone's got to send me something to change it to.
Well, I'm still debating on what we're gonna change it to. I got a couple good suggestions, but yeah, pretty good week. And then one really interesting thing, while we're talking about content creation, was the Call of Duty Blackout beta. I did buy a key for that and played a little bit this weekend with you, even for a little bit. And I really liked it. I thought it was incredibly enjoyable. What were your thoughts on it?
I think it's amazing. I think it's best battle royale game mode that I've played, at least. The only one I haven't really played is H1Z1, so
Yeah.
I don't even think it's in discussion. Between like PUBG, Fortnite, I think it's the best one out there. A lot of fun. It was dominating Twitch at like 228,000 viewers at I think at its peak. Around there, it was 200,000 plus.
All right, so slight interruption due to internet, but like I said, might have lost a little bit of it, but I feel like it was a good balance between Call of Duty and Battle Royale. And I know what you asked in our previous recording, which we had to throw out. You asked me if it was worth switching out single player, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to walk it back. I was wrong about single player. I don't think single player would have added as much as this Battle Royale does. Do you think this kills Fortnite or like hurts it in any way? I don't think it kills it.
I won't kill it though.
Yeah. Do you think kids will switch over? Because I know there's a lot of kids that play Fortnite. Do you think their parents will let them play Call of Duty or no?
And yeah, I mean, like, a lot of kids play Call of Duty. But I think the main thing that is holding it from killing Fortnite is Fortnite being free, and Call of Duty being $60.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. I think the other thing that will be kind of necessary for the Call of Duty folks is finding ways to keep the game fresh, because like Fortnite, they keep adding stuff as time goes on. Like they have seasons and things like that. Like it's going to be tough for Call of Duty to do that without
before, like an Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, but like I don't know that they can charge as much. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
because now the paradigm, to use the old business cliche, has shifted. But overall, are you gonna buy? Are you buying this game day one? Haven't you already pre-ordered it in advance?
Bought it.
Okay, yeah. I'm probably gonna pick it up if I can find a couple other friends that I know will play it. I think I'm gonna buy it. Probably day one.
Streaming it a bit. As it just how long I enjoy it. Keep on enjoying it. I'll stream it a lot.
Yeah, I think I'll probably just, like, at the very least, I'd probably just buy it to play with you and a couple other people that I know play Call of Duty. So, good stuff. So let's get into listener questions, Andy. So, we already talked about your listener question.
Yeah.
That one we could just scratch that one off right now.
There was a listener question that you kind of forced on the people.
Oh yeah. So when are you doing the World of Warcraft playthrough?
I don't know. It may happen.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna keep asking you every week until I see at least one video on it.
I'll stream it.
You're gonna stream it?
I'll stream it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I look forward to the stream then. I hope you invite me on it. I would love to give you some tips and some pointers as you work your way through World of Warcraft for the first time. Who knows? Maybe you like it. What if you get into it?
I'll quit YouTube.
You'll quit YouTube? Oh my God. Okay, what's our next listener question?
We have what game from the past would you like to see Clash/Spyro treatment?
Ooh, that is a good one. I'll let you lead off.
And I am gonna go with Banjo-Kazooie/Tooie. I mean, those games are amazing. I mean, they kind of they're on the Xbox One, but it's fun to see like an actual remaster of them, like a new game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know that you're talking about Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, the N64 games, right?
Yeah.
So, I just want to make sure we weren't talking about Nuts and Bolts, the Xbox 360 game that nobody really seemed to care for it. Yeah. So they did like kind of an update on the Xbox 360, and it was really good. But I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I have a different answer, but like I really would love to see that because I love those games. I would love to see them updated to like maybe 4K. With just new graphics, kind of like what they did with Crash and Spyro.
Ukulele, kinda.
No. I love ukulele, and I have a lot of good things to say about ukulele, but it is not Banjo-Kazooie. It's missing the level of polish that both of those games have. Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie specifically is what I'm talking about. In addition to that, I think I could be wrong here, and maybe we can make it a Twitter poll, but I think that if they were to remaster those two, people would go back to what they've been asking for a long time, which is a Banjo 3. I don't know, Banjo 3E. I don't know. But like for the longest time, people have wanted them to continue that series with updated assets and things like that, and I really think that it could be done, and I think it would be commercially successful. I really do. I don't think that collectathons are completely dead. So but yeah, this is a great question by Jared. I really kind of racked my brain on this one for a while. I went through a couple. Like I would love to see them I thought Psychonauts for a little bit, but then I
What's that,
realized
bro?
Psychonauts 2 is coming out, and then they redid it on PS4. So, there's that. Um, I'm trying to think what was my answer. It just slipped my mind. I should have been prepared for this.
I don't know. It's your answer.
Oh, so this one, I don't know that it'll necessarily happen, but I would really love to see it happen. I would love for them, Nintendo is them, pronouns. Don't want to use those too much. So I would love for Nintendo to bring back and remaster the original Metroid Primes, and then release a fourth one. Like, I think that would be really killer, because I know that they're supposedly planning Metroid Prime 4, and I've heard that they're out. I'm sorry?
They announced it.
Yeah, and I've heard that they're outsourcing it, so I've heard Nintendo isn't making it directly. But I would love for them, because I am somebody who did not finish that original run of Metroid Prime games. I would love for them to bring it out, just like they did with Crash, and prospectively what they've done with Spyro, where like Crash, the gameplay is like one for one. Like, it's so close to the original gameplay. It feels, looks, controls just like the original. They just updated the graphics, so that it looks great in, up to, I think it has 4K support. I've certainly played it on a 4K TV, and it's looked really good. So, like, if they could do that with the Metroid Prime series, I would really dig it. So that's my answer. But thank you to Jared. He's on Twitter at Spoon Sandwich. You can follow him on there. He's a great follow.
Try it out.
He's a huge FSU fan. So condolences to Jared right now. Sorry, bro.
Worst of the line in Florida.
We always, like, as fans, we always have those years, man. And FSU's just having one of those years. So I think that's all of our listener questions, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. If you want to submit a user question or give us a topic, you can tweet us at Dead Channel Duo on Twitter, or
In the comment section on YouTube.
comment section on YouTube. Yeah, we're also on the Facebook. If you want to get us on Facebook,
We do have a Instagram.
we do have an Instagram, and I think I've posted one thing there. But
Yep.
gonna-
There's nothing on there. Really.
I'm gonna try to be more regular on the social media accounts. But anyway, so which topic do you want to dive into next, Andy? I'll leave it to you. I'll let you lead.
All right. Well, I guess to keep it in the video game realm.
Yeah.
We have the PS Classic was announced with 20 games. I don't believe the games were announced yet.
They announced 5.
But it's supposedly going to have 20 preloaded games on it, which is less than the other classics. And, PlayStation's finally doing it. It's apparently going to be available for $9.99 in the USA on December 3rd, 2018. So pretty high price point.
$99.99. You think that's too high?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, just like the Nintendo Classic, I think $60 is a fair.
How did you feel about the Super NES Classic for $79?
I mean, I got it as a Christmas gift, so I don't really buy it. So, I mean, I have a different opinion. But, I mean, I feel like the SNES is held to a higher in everyone's hearts than the PlayStation Classic, maybe.
Yeah. One thing that got brought up, and it wasn't even my own point, so I'll give credit to them. Cinemassacre did a really good video talking about what they'd like to see out of the PlayStation Classic, maybe what this might be leading to in the future from Sony and other companies. So me personally, I've always been kind of lukewarm on these classic console ideas, just because, like, I get NES Classic, right? Because you know how hard it is to track down like an actual NES, not one of those like, what are they called? They're not like they're not emulators, but it's like mock hardware. It's not the original hardware. So like finding an original NES that works, or original NES hardware that works, and then even cartridges that still work, it can be pretty difficult depending on what area you live in worldwide, or even within the US here. I know it's difficult in some areas more so than others. So I kind of get that, and I definitely get the SNES Classic. But then, like when people were clamoring for an N64 Classic, that's where I kind of started to go, I don't know, guys, because like it still is pretty easy to go out and find an N64, and some of the cartridges as well. But at the same time, I totally get it from the standpoint of it is kind of nice. Like if I were to go out and find an SNES and find all the games that were on that SNES Classic, which by the way is a tremendous catalog of games that they have on there.
We can't find all of them.
Yeah, I mean you probably wouldn't be able to find all of them in your local area, and then
find Star Fox 2.
That is true. What? Okay, actually, guy. Actually, Star Fox 2 is exclusive. Yeah, so like if you were to find every game other than Star Fox 2, it would probably cost you a lot more than $79.99.
Yeah.
So I get it from a consumer-friendly standpoint, and I've really enjoyed mine. But anyway, back to my original point. When people kind of pointed to the lack of games, the two guys on Cinemassacre, whose names escape me at the moment, we're talking about, the games, the 20 games would probably be longer games than a typical SNES game. So you'll probably get the same amount of gameplay out of it, even though it's not as many titles. Like Final Fantasy VII is one of those titles, and you could put quite a bit of time into that game. Whereas on the Super NES, games were just shorter back then, So it's exciting. The two things that I kind of have a question about are why do the controllers not have analog sticks? Why did they go with that? That's the one thing that kind of was a bummer for me. I wish that they gave you DualShock controllers, because a lot of those games, I don't care what you say, like I know I played, like somebody was saying I hope Metal Gear's on it. I played Metal Gear with the analog sticks. It would be weird to play with just a D-pad.
I mean, I'm sure you can find, or you can plug in a PS2 controller.
It has different ports though. Well, you'd have to find, yeah. I don't know. You'd have to find an adapter. I'm sure somebody will do some kind of third-party controllers. I know I bought third-party wireless controllers for my SNES, and they were awesome. So if they do the same thing, I'll probably do that. But it looks pretty cool. Are you gonna buy one, Andy? I'm thinking
probably
about it. Not.
No.
I'm on the fence. Here's why I'm on the fence. I never owned a PlayStation as a kid. Did you own a PlayStation as a kid? Wasn't your first console the PS2?
No. First console's SNES. I did have a PS2, yes. I didn't have a PlayStation 1, though.
Okay, so your first console was an SNES, and then you skipped PS1 pretty much altogether, right?
Yeah. I mean, I played a couple of games, but
yeah.
From SNES to 64 to PS2.
Yeah, because that's kind of where I landed. I did not have a PS1. I had an N64. I even came into the N64 much later than when it launched. And then
way past.
Yeah, and then the PS1 just was never a thing for me. So I kind of want it for two reasons. One, I might be able to play some of those PS1 games without having to track them down and emulate them. And then the other thing would be Ashley was a really big PlayStation person as a kid, so I think she might enjoy it. But I don't know.
I feel like if I get it, then I have to get the NES Classic to have all the classics.
True.
Because I only have the SNES Classic right now.
I think it's just a matter of time before we see an N64 Classic.
We're gonna have all the classics.
And then I could totally
360 Classic.
I could totally see a GameCube Classic.
PS2 Classic. Sega Saturn Classic.
I feel like it's gonna happen. I don't think
Classic.
Sega has any interest in doing it. They license it out to AT Games, and they make terrible machines that don't work.
Classic.
Yeah. See, the Xbox Classic, I actually see a need for that because it's hard to find an original Xbox that still works. The hardware inside of those was basically a PC in the box, and they're all breaking. So. But still, interesting stuff, man. What's our next topic, Andy?
Keep it into video game realm. Fallout 76 the president of Bethesda says he wants it to run to the end of humanity, putting a lot of. Apparently, they're going to be really high on it, and I think it's going to sell that well. I have a bit of concerns with it, but you think first it'll last that long? Obviously not that long, but let's say like last like 5 years. You think I'll make it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that World of Warcraft is a really good example of a game that if you keep adding content and you keep your user base very engaged, they will absolutely keep coming back. A couple other examples I could give you is EverQuest 2 is still out there, still has users to my knowledge. Guild Wars, the Guild Wars series is another one online on PC. I feel like on PC, it's more likely to succeed because people on PC tend to play games, I think, longer than those on console. I think console gamers, because you can trade games in, because a lot of people sell games, and it's a lot easier to sell games on a console than it is on a PC. I could see it lasting pretty long. I mean, you just got to keep putting out the content. I don't think it'll be for as long as humanity, though. I think that's a marketing tagline, but I mean, I'm trying to think of a game, even in the shooter realm, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. There's still people out there playing that game, and that's a pretty old game, isn't it?
It came out in 2010.
It's 8 years. That's impressive. What do you think?
I have concerns with the game though.
Okay.
Fallout shooting has never been that good.
You're right.
Ever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like the game's just gonna be really wonky. And then the whole there's nuke things, and there's probably gonna be exploits to get nukes, and there's just gonna be nukes everywhere. I feel like it's gonna be make it last a couple months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Also, Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, people still play it, but it's not that big of a game.
They've struggled. I mean, there's no other nice way to put it. They've really struggled. In terms of garnering user base and maintaining that user base, and I looked into Elder Scrolls Online. It didn't really look appealing to me. I know a couple people that played it. They've all since moved on to something else. And unfortunately, I feel like Elder Scrolls Online kind of just got thrown on the scrap heap, along with games like Age of Conan and all those like City of Villains, City of Heroes, all those MMOs over the years that have tried and failed because it's a very difficult space to get into.
Conan Exiles.
Still struggling, but it's out there. I don't know. I also kind of wonder, would they pull a Destiny? Because Destiny did this where originally when the first Destiny came out, they're like, you're going to buy the CD, you're going to play the year one content on the original CD, and then everything else you could just add on as you go. And they had these grand ideas of making it this very long and evergreen title that just continues to get content updates. And then eventually they're like, yeah, we're coming out with Destiny 2. And a lot of people were kind of miffed by that. They were expecting that they would just keep building on the original game. But as time goes on, they kind of realize, you kind of build yourself into a corner and you have to move on to just a whole new title. They did that with Destiny 2, and I don't think they ever really recovered from that. I know that Forsaken has really revitalized Destiny 2, but I still feel like there's a lot of people out there who are very angry at them for that. And I've seen that on social media, and I've even seen it amongst my circle of friends that used to be real big into Destiny. But I don't know. Remains to be seen. Well, you're getting Fallout 76, right?
Yeah, I'll play it. Hopefully it is fun forever. But at the same time, I don't play games that like that. So
you don't play games for long.
Yeah.
You move on, man. You're not a commitment guy when it comes to video games.
There's better stuff that come out every month.
Yeah.
Right now I'm in a little hiatus where there's nothing really to play.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for FIFA to come out next week. And then we'll be back on the grinding stuff.
I'll enjoy that if you make any content on FIFA.
Yeah, I may stream it. That's it.
Oh, okay. Let's move on to our next topic, Andy. What do we got?
We have a surprise question from you.
Yeah. This is just kind of a general question. I was just watching I was watching a YouTube video today, and the quality was atrocious. The gameplay was too loud. The mic the guy was using was way too soft. And the audio was completely imbalanced. Not to mention the mic quality of this guy was pretty piss poor.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just can't keep watching this. Even though I was enjoying the content. If it was better quality, I would have kept watching it. I was just going to ask you, like, where do you draw the line? What's more, like, when it comes... So, from two perspectives. As someone who ingests content, right? So, if you're watching YouTube, what's most important to you? Video quality, audio quality, both, or neither? And then where do you draw the line? Is there anything that's so bad that you would just click off of it? Even if you were really enjoying it.
It depends on what it is.
Okay. So
Like
if it's like video game content.
If it's video game content, there is like a more strict, like, because there's everyone else's better stuff, like at least 720p, at least a decent mic.
Okay.
Like decent quality. But if it's something like, I don't know, like in movies, like older stuff that isn't like that good of quality, I can accept it. Like, it's something we'll talk about in a bit later, like Twilight Zone. It's black and white, but it's one of the best TV shows of all time. I really enjoy it. Or like we talked last week about Clerks. Definitely not the best quality, but a great movie.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, it depends on what it is. If it's gaming, there's definitely like, you have to like at least have 720 and a decent mic.
So as a content creator, like what are the benchmarks for you? What's like the worst quality you would put out on your channel?
No less than 720.
No less than 720.
Like anything at all.
Have you ever recorded a video? I've always wondered this too. Have you ever recorded a video and it's a really good video and it's not something you can go re-record? It's not something you can go back and redo. And the audio is garbage because of some kind of a technical problem. What do? Do you throw it out or do you put it up anyway?
What I've done in the past is just throw music over it.
Okay. So if it's like this one recording that I did where every 5 seconds there was a tick-tock, like I don't know what it was. It was like this digital clicking noise. Every 2 to 5 seconds there was like that. No music's going to cover it. Would you still put it up? Because I did.
What I did is I muted it and then put music over it.
Oh, okay. Because I'll be honest with you, man. It was on my voiceover track. Not even voiceover. Just my voice track was clicking like that. And I put it up and I was like, I'm sorry for the audio, but it was a long playthrough of a game. And I'm like, I can't not post this because then it's just like not complete, but I'm sorry for the audio. I just figured I'd ask you. It was ukulele. There was a video in there that was the audio was crap. I think that was even the title, the one where the audio is crap. It was bad. The audio. So like as a content creator, me myself, like I think 1080p is kind of like where it has to be. If it's a pre-recorded video, if it's a stream, I generally stream at 720, and the reason I do that is because when you go to 1080p. And I'm in agreement with YouTube on this. When you go to 1080p, there's going to be some people who are going to be... Very few people are going to stream it at 1080p. And then very few people will be able to stream it reliably if they even were to go in there and select 1080p. And then when it comes to audio, like I'm a real big audio snob. Like I like my audio to be pretty clean. I edit my audio on pre-recorded videos. I try to put filters and things on, even on the live streams. But for me, I can take crappy video quality. I've actually watched video gaming channels where they're recording the gameplay with a camcorder. I can deal with that. What I can't deal with is audio being garbage. When audio is garbage, I get really like, I can't do it. Like I just click off of it and I'm done. And I hate it. I hate it sometimes because like this one video that I was watching today, I won't mention the guy's name because I don't want him to think that I'm like shaming him or anything. But he does a lot of videos on like Warframe, this really obscure game called Nebula Realms, and then like Destiny. And he had this one video, and the audio quality was so bad. I'm like, I'm enjoying this video, but the audio, I can't get through it. So I just figured it would be an interesting question. I did not know that video quality seems to be a bigger deal for you.
I mean,
It makes sense.
if it's bad audio, like I'll still like be like, oh, this is awful. But people can get away with average to below average audio quality.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. Like nowadays, as a content creator, somebody came in and asked me for like a good recommendation on a budget mic, and I was like, really try to look at something like the Blue Snowball, or there's quite a few USB mics out there. No, not the Yeti, because you're paying. Here's the thing with the Blue Yeti, man, you're paying $100 for something that really isn't that much better than a Snowball.
AT2020.
AT2020 is an outstanding mic for $99. The only downside with that is you have to buy an XLR interface.
No, there's a USB one.
The USB one is actually really good too, but I would never recommend the Yeti to somebody because I feel like the Yeti is not good enough. I don't feel like you get good enough quality for the price over that of a Snowball. But I mean, I'll always recommend XLR over USB, and there's a number of reasons for that. But the first one is just being control of how your audio comes in. It's better. Yeah, we say that as two guys that record on XLR, but yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the Blue Yeti. I don't feel like it presents enough of an upgrade, and there's just so many USB mics out there that actually are lower price points and do a little bit better. Shockingly enough, there is actually out there. I did not know this existed until I saw it at a Best Buy. A Blue Yeti Pro, I think is what they call it, and it actually has an XLR output too. And I was like, I wonder what that sounds like, but I never researched it.
Rode Podcaster. It's a USB mic.
It's a very expensive USB mic, but I've heard it's an outstanding one.
It's like 130 range.
I almost moved to that mic. But I splurged a little bit, got this AT2035, and I highly recommend it. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was just a good question that I wanted to get thrown your way. So thanks for answering, Andy. What's our next topic here? What do we got?
Before we get into sports, we have two trailers that came out recently. We have the Twilight Zone trailer and the Joker trailer. Just wondering your thoughts and opinions on that.
Well, I'll start with Twilight Zone. I'm excited with who is directing it because he's very talented. It's Jordan Peele, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's directing the first episode, and that's it.
Oh, no.
He's producing the whole series.
Well, that means he has, like, when you're producing, you have some creative. Yeah. I'm excited about that because he's very talented.
They're putting like a different director every single episode.
That's cool. They could probably get some cool people to do that. Like you can usually get some directors, big name directors even, to come in. I know, like, for example, Guillermo del Toro, phenomenal director, has done a lot of stuff like that where he'll do like a one-off for a series. So I could see that working out for them. I'm excited. I liked the Twilight Zone as a kid. I watched it obviously much later than when it came out. My mom kind of got me into it because when the sci-fi, there was a period of time, this will show you how old I am, when I remember cable channels, there were usually like 50 or 60 cable channels.
Yeah.
And then, but there were like new ones coming out frequently, like I remember MTV2 launching. I remember VH1 Classic launching. I think that was a channel. I remember like stuff like the TV Guide channel launching, but one of the big deals was when the Sci-Fi channel launched. They made a big deal. They had marketing for it, all that. And I think when they first launched it, they did a Twilight Zone marathon. And my mom was like, yeah, this is a show that I used to watch when I was a kid, and it was really good. And I sat there and sat down and watched just a bunch of Twilight Zone. Really liked the original. I like the direction they're going with the new one and the people that they have involved with it. I'm excited for it, man. Are you?
I mean, I am, but it's also on CBS All Access, which is you have to pay like something like $8 a month to watch it. So I'll probably wait till the whole season comes out, and then spend $8 and then watch the
Yeah,
whole thing.
that's
Which does
probably where
kind of
I'm
suck,
gonna land.
but I like it. I haven't seen all of the old Twilight. It's kind of old, but it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, I can't
If
say
you,
that I've seen them
if
all.
you haven't checked it out, you must just try it out.
Yeah,
Great show.
it should be good. I hope it makes its way on to traditional style TV or on demand, one way or another, instead of having to buy like a streaming service. But if
Yeah.
it does, worst case scenario, I guess I'll do like you, and Ashley and I will pony up for a month and watch it all, and then maybe come back when it comes
Next
back
season.
on. As far as the Joker trailer goes, I'm intrigued. Looks like a new look for the Joker.
Yeah.
Looks like a different origin story than what we're used to. But I like it. I like it. It's a little different, and different is generally good when it comes to the
Yeah.
Joker character, because like in the comic books, there's a lot of different origin stories. A lot of times his origin is kind of just left up in the air in general. You never really get a straight answer as far as where he came from, what happened that led him to being the Joker. I like it. It looked good. It looked promising for being, I think it's just a 30-second camera test is what they labeled it as. I'm excited. I liked what Jared Leto did with the Joker character in Suicide Squad.
It's a different. It's not the same. It's not DCEU. It's a different. They're like doing like a different spin-off thing.
Yeah.
Different movies.
Yeah, I realize, it doesn't take place in the same universe per se, but I was just mentioning it because originally I think the thought, I could be wrong here. My friend Daniel from The Reasons I'm Broke could probably school me on all of this, but I thought the original plan was they were going to do a spin-off of that Joker from Suicide Squad and do like a solo movie, and I guess it just didn't pan out that way, but this
I think
looks
there's supposed to be
interesting.
2 Joker movies. I think there's supposed to be
Really?
a Jared Leto one too. Yeah.
Well,
There's supposed to be a Jared Leto spin-off one.
oh god, you're confusing me now, DC.
And then there's the Joaquin Phoenix one.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one with Joaquin Phoenix.
The makeup kind of reminded me of John Wayne Gacy. So, kind of darker take on the Joker.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good to see a new take on an old character, and I like that it is kind of its own thing. That way, it can kind of stand on its own.
Yeah.
And I hope people get behind it. Not a huge fan of the makeup right now, but then again, I don't know if that's the final product or not. Again, it's just a camera test.
Yeah.
And I'll probably find myself doing what I normally do with movies, where I don't watch the trailers as it gets closer because I don't want anything to be given away. But I'll see it. I know Ashley's going to want to see it.
We've talked about this earlier in the podcast, a couple, maybe like 6 episodes ago or something like that. I don't watch trailers at all, so I did see this one. It's early on, so it doesn't really matter. So it looks pretty decent. I'm pretty sure it comes out 2019.
Wow, that's soon then.
For sure when? 2019 or early 2020.
That's soon.
I'm not for sure if it has a date. October 4th, 2019 is the date. So later on. So basically a whole year from now.
Yeah.
And speaking of trailers, I accidentally saw a trailer. Don't question how you accidentally watch a trailer, but I accidentally saw the trailer for the new Halloween movie. Looks pretty good.
Oh, yes. I agree with you on that. I am happy to see that come back.
Avoid them. I'm specifically trying to avoid them. But I went to go see a movie and it was on the previews. And what am I going to do? Just leave? So I watched the trailer and it looks really good.
Yeah, when I was younger and I would go to the movies a lot with my brother when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of movies, and when we would go, we would purposefully try to miss the previews, and a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's because you don't want to sit through them." It was usually because,
you don't want to see them.
God, some of the trailers, dude, they like, especially for comedy movies, they give away too much of the humor, and I don't like that. Like, I kind of like to go into something and not.
I work in the theater business, so I accidentally watch trailers all the time, or like get sneak clips of them.
Yeah.
But I specifically try to avoid it.
That's got to be difficult working in a movie theater, trying to avoid it completely.
Yeah.
Do they have anywhere, like, because I know here in my local theater they have a couple TVs like kind of throughout the lobby that just kind of play trailers on a loop?
I mean, they don't play trailers. They play like they have nothing to do with like new movies.
Oh.
It's like advertisements, and then they have a little thing that I play. I forgot what it's called. It's like name that movie thing where like it'll like show like a blank canvas, and they'll slowly add like 6 or 7 hints. You have to guess the movie. That's the only thing I really pay attention to on the TV, to be honest. But speaking of the Joker, Martin Scorsese is apparently producing it.
I think I don't know, man.
Martin Scorsese and Todd Phillips.
I feel like we are so lucky. If you're a nerd who's into comic books, like, we're so lucky that we live in a time where superhero movies, comic book movies
are good.
are good. And they're
doing,
and by good, I mean they're good action movies. I want to be really clear. These are not works of art. This is not cinematic. These are not cinematic masterpieces, okay? But they're good enough quality-wise to do well enough financially to where we get so much of it. Like, I never thought, if you went back and talked to Alex from, like, I don't know, 1999, 2000, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like when Spider-Man had gotten announced, right? Because they had already told us, hey, there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out. But if you would, or at least they were talking about working on it. And I know X-Men was like another one. If you had told me, yeah, man, 18 years from now, Black Panther will get his own movie and Captain America will get his own movie. And, there will be a Venom solo film that may not even have Spider-Man in it, I would have been like, you're crazy. Get out of here, Hellboy. Like, we live in an age where we're lucky. And I told Ashley this the other night. I'm like, it is a bubble. And one day it's going to burst. It's like when my mom was a kid, she was like, yeah, Westerns were huge. And they were big and big and big. And then one day it just stopped. Like, people stopped going to see them as much. They stopped being so financially successful. And then they stopped making them as much. And now, how many Westerns do we see? Very few.
Top of my head, there's been one good one this year.
Very few, man. I mean, there's just, it's not like it used to be. So I just I tell people, when they get so embroiled and they get so caught up in the whole Marvel is better than DC and DC is better than Marvel, and they're screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and I'm like, enjoy it while it lasts, people. It's fleeting. It won't be there forever.
I will say The Dark Knight and Logan are masterpieces. Don't at me. And speaking of Todd Phillips, before we change topics,
can't disagree.
He directed Road Trip. It keeps on coming on the podcast.
I didn't realize that.
Sorry, I had to mention it.
Oh, God.
Road Trip keeps getting mentioned in this podcast.
You know what I want us to do?
What?
What do you think about, and you guys will have to tell us, maybe on Twitter, if you think this will be a worthwhile segment. What if we both watch it, took notes, and compared notes on a podcast? Just like 2 minutes we just talk about it.
Idea. What if we did a special, all right? It was audio only, or we could do like face cam like normal, where we watch the movie and then tell them where to start so they can watch the movie with us.
Ooh, I like that idea. Another idea I had for just a regular weekly segment.
Yeah.
I realize I'm putting you on the spot here. But I was thinking, what if we had a regular segment, just 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, right? where me and you sit down, we agree to watch one movie each week, and we
I'm
get
down.
to we should do that. We should do, and we let them pick the movie.
I was thinking that in the back of my head, from back then when we started. But like then again, you don't watch movies that often, so that's why I didn't like ever mention it.
No, I'll go out on a limb. Like, maybe we could take some suggestions on like a movie to watch.
What if we did like I bring a movie to the table one week, you do, and the fans bring a movie, like
alternate it?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hammer out the details on this when we're not in the middle of a podcast, but I like this idea. Good brainstorming session there.
To sports. Finally get to the sports, so all you non-sports guys can click off now.
No!
Keep the watch time. So I had a surprise thing.
Ooh.
I wanted to see your opinion on. So there's this one guy. He's an MVP candidate right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's been dominating.
Okay.
Plays for the Brewers. Played for the Marlins last year. Christian Yelich.
I was afraid you were going to say that name.
What's your thoughts on how he could have been on the Marlins this year, as well as Giancarlo Stanton? But Christian Yelich is just tearing it up. Some say favorite to win MVP right now.
Okay.
He had his second cycle of the season this week.
Well, so first off, I want to address two other minor things before I get to Christian Yelich. So when they dealt Giancarlo Stanton, I was mad because they let Giancarlo Stanton dictate the process too much, in my opinion. It later came to find out that they did not have great offers on the table given his salary. I understand the move to move Giancarlo Stanton given his salary. Okay? So, want to make that clear. I still feel like they got almost nothing back notable in return for him. But nevertheless, I thought that the Marlins should have kept either one or both of Marcell Ozuna and Christian Yelich. And the reason for that is both of those guys were getting great production, and considering their production, you would call them both team-friendly contracts. When they dealt Ozuna, I thought for sure they were going to keep Christian Yelich, who I really like. And they got back Lewis Brinson and one prospect who will probably move up to the majors in the next 2 years. His name eludes me at the moment, but the prospect that they got back looks like he'll probably be better than Lewis Brinson. I am not sold on Brinson. I know I've made that very well known. I think he strikes out too much. I know that he's made some changes and tweaks to his batting approach recently, but I still don't think that he's going to be a plus major league hitter. I think that he'll have good power. I don't think he'll ever be able to hit for average. And I think that he'll also strike out enough to where you would say it's debatable whether he adds enough as an outfielder at the plate. And by the way, his defense that everybody says is really great is actually pretty average. I think Christian Yelich is an outstanding player, and you're seeing a guy peak who could have been peaking for the Marlins. I think that he would legitimately add 6 or 7 wins to the Marlins had they kept him this year. I think that keeping Ozuna would have added another 4 or 5. I don't even think the Marlins last season were that bad. I think they needed better pitching, not better hitting, if you look at that. But nonetheless, good for Christian Yelich, good for the Brewers. They got a great player. It makes me sad.
They're got a wild card nod right here, trying to surpass the Cubs. I think they're 2 games behind the Cubs.
I hope they make it.
Now, as recording.
I hope they make it.
Will. I think they're at the point to where they're definitely gonna make the wild card. They're not clinched, but it's 95% sure they're gonna make the playoffs.
I don't normally say this about former players because usually former players leave under less than fun circumstances. So I would never say this about Giancarlo Stanton, but if the Brewers were to win a World Series somehow and Christian Yelich is a big part of that, I would be happy for Christian Yelich. I'd also be happy for Brewers fans. They've suffered enough.
Yeah, I like Christian Yelich as a player. I don't have such a close connection.
I don't have a close connection. I just wish he was still in a Marlins uniform.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fun player to watch.
He'd look really good on the front of a opening day program. He'd look really good trying to sell tickets. I mean, you got to have a face of the franchise. Who's the face of the Marlins franchise?
Real Moto.
I mean, he's good, but come on, man.
Wait, Justin Bohr? Didn't he get traded?
Yeah, he got traded. I mean, like, I like Real Moto, but they were talking about trading him too.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to have a face of the franchise. Come on, man.
Derek Dietrich.
I like Derek Dietrich, but he's not the face of a franchise. Yelich would have been perfect. He does it all.
They don't really got a face.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Speaking of trades, we have moving on to football. Josh Gordon has been traded to the New England Patriots for a 5th-round draft pick, and if he doesn't play 10 games, the Patriots get a 7th round back.
What are your thoughts, Andy?
I think it's a hey, we just lost to the Jaguars. This Jaguars team is legit on offense, and we have to do something to keep up with them. I'm super high on the Jaguars right now. Last year, I called my shot early on saying the Eagles going to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling my shot now. Jacksonville Jaguars winning it all without injury. Like, injury off the table. Jacksonville's so dominant right now. The offense is getting it done. Like, people are like saying their wide receivers are bad. They're not. Their wide receivers are amazing. Keelan Cole, Dede Westbrook was a first round. Like, they're stacked. Defense is arguably the greatest of all time. The offense is getting it done. Best O-line football, arguably. And they're doing this without Leonard Fournette. He's returning this week.
So
if Blake Bortles puts an average to above average performance every week, I don't see them losing any game.
So I really like the Jaguars. I'm pretty high on them as well. I hope you're right for the sake of all the Jacksonville Jaguars fans. I mean, I'm here in Florida, so there's quite a few Jaguars fans, and they're not bandwagoners either. They're people that have legitimately liked this team when they stunk for many years. But I don't think the wide receivers. I don't think the wide receivers suck. I had concerns about the wide receiver core in terms of depth, but they have tremendous depth elsewhere as well.
Dante Moncrief, I forgot to mention. He gets it done.
Yeah. DJ Shark.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be. I mean, he's a little raw, but he does have a lot of potential. He has a high ceiling.
ASJ at tight end.
Yeah, if he can stay out of trouble, he's pretty good. But yeah, man, I like the move by the Patriots as a low risk, high reward thing.
You see, Bill Belichick in his interview, people were asking questions. And he hasn't played yet. So he's not really on the team. So quit asking until he plays the game.
It's fair. I think that people should keep their expectations low.
Yeah.
And I guess Andy may have a difference of opinion on this. I don't know. I'll let you answer for yourself, but I have zero faith in Josh Gordon. I don't think that he wants it bad enough. I think that he struggles with addiction, but I also don't think that he has enough motivation to play football. And he's even given interviews where he's kind of given the indication that he may not be as motivated to play football as most other guys are. I think the talent is undeniable with Josh Gordon. Undeniable talent. I see he's still pretty young. I think he's only 27. Somebody have to correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, okay, so 27. Yeah. He's still a young man. I mean, I made some dumb decisions when I was 27.
I don't know, but the same time though is this is way better situation for him.
Yeah.
Because he shows up in New England, and he's not gonna be that guy. He's not gonna be like not everyone's gonna be sucking up to him and stuff. Like, he's gonna get super humbled instantly that no one really cares who he is. Like, oh, you were good on the Browns, cool. we're all good. We all have won Super Bowls. We all get it done every single week, and it's just like the culture hopefully humbles him and makes him actually try to get better, try to play. And also the Patriots in a situation where if it doesn't work out, they're like one of the only teams that could be like they could cut him and be like it didn't work out, but other teams like
it
like
is a very
like,
Patriots type move.
yeah.
And I also wanna be clear here. I'm not like most people on Twitter where, most people are like, oh yeah, the Patriots always do this. They always make the smart moves and it always works out for them. And it's like, no, you're having selective memory because the Patriots make a lot of high risk or low risk, high reward type moves. Like they brought Albert Hainsworth in for a period of time and they cut him. It didn't work out. They found out that Albert Hainsworth didn't want it bad enough.
How many roster changes do you think has happened to this wide receiver core since the start of the offseason?
Isn't it over 20 at this point?
It's 27.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I think that the Patriots are throwing things up against the wall and seeing what will stick.
I don't think this is the end of them trading because I have a small, kind of hope. Obviously, I don't want the Patriots to win, but I have a small feeling that there's gonna be a team that's rebuilding that has a cornerback because the Patriots need help in defense a lot. A team that's rebuilding that has someone that they pay a lot of money that they should get rid of to free cap room that gets traded to the Patriots. And I look at the rosters, and Pat Pete is kind of one of those guys that he's getting paid a lot of money. Arizona's rebuilding, not really gonna do anything. Throw him to the Patriots for like a 4th round draft pick.
I could see something like that. I just want people to have realistic expectations. I think it's more likely that Josh Gordon doesn't work out than it is that he does work out.
A coin flip on my end.
Yeah. Quick question here, going back to Josh Gordon. Do you think this is his last chance in the NFL?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
He'll find a roster spot next year, but he's not gonna the money end. He's gonna probably get a veteran minimum if he doesn't work out with Patriots.
Okay.
Because someone's gonna take the risk on him. There's some team that'll be tremendous talent, gonna take a risk on it.
I guess I could see someone like the Jets who really don't have much of a receiving core potentially doing something like that. I'll be honest with you. I guess I'm a little, and I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I really do hope it works out for Josh Gordon. I really do. It would be a huge. The NFL is a better place when a player with that much talent is living up to their potential. But I really feel like this is not only his best chance in the NFL that he'll ever get. I think it's probably also his last chance in the NFL that he'll ever get. If he doesn't make it work in New England, nobody's going to touch him, I think. Because they'd look at it and they'd say, well, shoot, couldn't work there. Yeah. Why would it work here? So, yeah. But, Patriots did kind of protect themselves a little bit with that conditional pick. Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
But then again, a fifth round pick could easily get cut in training camp.
At the same time. But to kind of cut the short, we kind of need to get past this to our week 3 picks. We have a couple topics that we haven't got to, like Carson Wentz return and John Jones and Jimmy Butler trade. Mention them next week, but we kind of try to get a short podcast in because the last couple have been really long. So let's get to our weekly picks. Okay. Starting off, it was Thursday night. We had the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets, where we both went with the Cleveland Browns, and they came through. Baker Mayfield comes in, takes the lead, winning 21-17 as Sam Darnold throws a interception to lose the game. It's fun to watching two rookies in their first bout against each other. Baker Mayfield comes away the victor, also getting a 2-point conversion. But moving into Sunday football, our first game, probably the biggest blowout on my predictions. We have the Buffalo Bills at Minnesota. I'm going with the Vikings. The spread is, I think, 16.5 points. What's your thoughts on it?
Spread is probably pretty good guess there. I think there were glimpses of, like, I guess a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Buffalo last week against the Chargers, but I don't think it'll be that good. They're playing on the road going to Minnesota. I got Minnesota in this one.
And I have to agree. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts in Philadelphia. Carson Wentz is returning. I feel a bit early. You've heard us discuss about it. I think he should return around week 12, week 10. But the team feels like he's back in form in 2017, his first start. And after that loss to Tampa Bay, I feel like to come back, pick a home win against the Colts.
Got the Eagles.
Got the Eagles as well.
Yep.
We have the Green Bay Packers in Washington. Aaron Rodgers playing. Going Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I'm going with Green Bay here on the road. I lost a little bit of faith in Washington given their Week 2 performance.
Yeah. The Colts kind of impressed me a bit last week. But they're better than I thought.
Yeah.
We have the San Francisco 49ers, a bit of a, my favorite team. No bias here, up against the the flaming hot Kansas City Chiefs. And until someone proves me wrong, I'm going to go with Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree. I think that might be the best offense in football, aside from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Being a little bit of a homer there. But no, seriously, Kansas City. I really like the 49ers, but Kansas City looks very, very dangerous right now.
This is one of those, the Chiefs usually start off hot and they fall off a bit. This is one of the games that I think 49ers may pull it off, but I can't go against Pat Mahomes. Next up, we have the Oakland Raiders at Miami, in Miami versus the Dolphins. And Oakland 0-2, Dolphins undefeated, and I think the Dolphins stay undefeated, starting off 3-0.
Yeah, I like the Dolphins. I know a lot of people thought I was crazy, but I really do believe in addition by subtraction. They got rid of some older players, gave a lot of younger players some chances, and I really like what the Dolphins are doing. So I'm going Dolphins here.
You want to know a fun statistic?
What's that?
The best quarterback in their last 10 games, record-wise, is Ryan Tannehill. He's 9-1 in his last 10.
Ryan Tannehill is not as bad as people make him out to be. He has played pretty well this year.
And, and Oakland isn't really that good. Last week, Derek Carr was 29 completions on 32 attempts and lost, which is an insane performance. We have Tennessee Titans at Jacksonville. You heard us talk about Jacksonville earlier. I don't see anyone beating them at this point, so go on Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm going Jacksonville on this one. I think it'll be closer than people think because I know Tennessee seems to have Jacksonville's number, but they're firing on all cylinders. Marcus Mariota is still a little bit banged up from my understanding.
Is it confirmed playing this week?
He is confirmed playing?
He isn't. It's a 24 hours within the game that we'll know.
Boy, imagine Blaine Gabbert going back to Jacksonville and playing. That might be a little weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville, though. He ain't going to win.
And we have the Denver Broncos at Baltimore. Denver barely escaping Oakland last week. Looked to kind of like a bit ugly of a game in Baltimore. They almost had to come back in Cincinnati last week. I will be going with Baltimore this week. I still don't really have that much faith in the Broncos. They did start 2-0 last year and kind of fell off, and maybe it's going to happen again. So I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. I'm actually going to go Broncos. I think the Broncos D is going to kind of short circuit the Baltimore offense, and that Baltimore offense looked pretty rough in the last couple drives of that Bengals game. They looked like a team that didn't know that time was running out.
This is a very coin flippy game.
It really is, yeah.
Like, I wouldn't surprise whoever wins it. The next week, or next game, we have the New Orleans Saints, not looking very good at the start of the season, up against another team that isn't looking very good, the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. I'm going to be going with the New Orleans Saints. This one, division rivals. I feel like the Saints barely escaping Cleveland last week, which was kind of, and they lost against Tampa Bay. I feel like they got to get it going at some point. It probably wouldn't be when Mark Ingram comes back, but they need this win in division matchup. Go with the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to go Saints here too. Reason for that is I'm still not really sold on Atlanta. I know they're playing at home. Atlanta has not been a terrific home team over the last couple seasons. So I'm going to take New Orleans here. I think that they looked really, really good in the second half of that Browns game. And that Browns defense is no slouch, as we saw on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So I'm taking New Orleans.
They're leading the league, and they had I don't know what the number is now. I think it's 10. Last year, the Browns defense had 13 takeovers in total. So far, this first 3 games, they have 10. Like, they turnover city in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Cincinnati Bengals at Carolina. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Hopefully, they stay hot. They kind of fell off a little bit near the end. Also, Joe Mixon being hurt in this game. But I feel like Giovanni Bernard's a very solid backup, can step in. And I really don't have any faith in Carolina's offense besides Christian McCaffrey. There's nothing there.
I'm going to take Carolina playing at home here. I'm still not sold on the Bengals. I think this is an anomaly. Can't buy it.
I mean,
I've bought it before.
Coin flippy game.
Yeah.
Then we have the New York Giants. Looked very bad last week. It looked pretty good against the Jags. The Jags week 1 up against the Houston Texans. Both teams haven't won a game. Looking for their first wins. I'm going to go with the New York Giants.
This one was tough for me. I am still not sold on the Giants. I know everybody thought OBJ was going to be back. Saquon Barkley comes in and everything's going to be fixed. Just hasn't been the case. I really thought it was going to make a difference for New York. It hasn't. I'm taking Houston just because they're playing at home.
I think this is the worst quarterback matchup so far this season.
Yeah, Houston didn't look good last week either. But I'm just taking Houston because they're playing at home.
We have the Los Angeles Bowl, the Chargers at the LA Rams.
Yeah.
And the Rams, they're one of the best teams in the league, and gotta go before them.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm pretty impressed with Los Angeles thus far. They've done a great job of utilizing. Oh, I'm sorry, the Rams. I keep thinking Chargers in San Diego. I apologize, but yeah, I really like what the Rams are doing on offense. They're utilizing Brandon Cooks. I feel like they swapped Watkins for Brandon Cooks. A lot of people made that assumption this year, and Watkins played a lot of decoy last year because he's not a very good receiver. I'm sorry, Sammy Watkins fans. Brandon Cooks, on the other hand, is an outstanding receiver and has done very well in stretching the field for them and also hauling in receptions. So I'm taking the Rams here.
And then we have the Dallas Cowboys looking good after their big win against the in-division rivals versus the Seahawks, which they've given up 12 sacks this season. But I think it's kind of a fluke because their defensive lines they've been playing the past 2 weeks, the Denver Broncos and the Bears, both top 5 teams. I know Seattle's offense, recently everyone's been down on them. But I think Seahawks, in their home opener, pick up a win right here.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go against the grain. I don't really have any faith in the Seahawks at all this year. Russell Wilson running for his life as always, it seems like, and defense is certainly not the same. One of the announcers called them the Legion of Boom last weekend, which was a joke because they're not even the lead. It's not. Nobody's there anymore.
3 starters left from the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, it's not the same team. It's not the bandwagoners Seahawks any longer. So I guess all those fans will have to find a new team. But I'm gonna take the Cowboys here. I think that they'll do well. Even on the road, I think they'll do well enough, and Dak Prescott can probably manage the game just well enough to win it.
Yeah. Speaking of the bandwagons, the Chicago Bears super hyped up right now.
Oh man, get that Khalil Mack jersey ordered.
Up against the Arizona Cardinals, and this is going to be a weekly segment of ours. Is the Cardinals are bad, so going with the Bears.
Yeah, they just don't have a chance. I'm sorry, the Cardinals offense is really rough. They don't have much of a pass game, and David Johnson has been almost completely neutralized. So it stinks. I expect Arizona's offense to get booed a lot, like the last Arizona game. I feel bad for those fans. Do you know the Arizona Cardinals, since they've moved to that University of Phoenix Stadium out there in Glendale, have sold out every single game? The fan base has been extremely supportive of this team, and they've put a terrible product on the field. Shame on you, Arizona Cardinals. ownership for doing that. But I'm taking Chicago.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Which, speaking of David Johnson being neutralized, we do have a bet on him. Isn't looking great for me. You forgot about that. I reminded you. Then we have the New England Patriots at Detroit. Detroit's looking not that great this season, losing to the Jets and losing to the 49ers. And I tweeted about this. If you guys follow me on Twitter, at AndyHolsey88. Link is in the description if you're on YouTube. I feel like the Lions are going to start the season 0-5.
I saw your tweet, and I saw Lions fans agreeing with you.
Yeah, I got responses like, "Yeah, diehard Lions fan, can't argue with you. You got us."
Dude, I was like, oh God, they're broken. The Lions fan base is broken. I feel bad for them. It's another franchise that, you know, is kind of hamstrung by their quarterback's contract. And I think that Matt Stafford is a fine quarterback. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve the money, but when you give a quarterback that much money, ooh, man, it's very risky. And I got New England bouncing back and taking this win, and I think this might get ugly. I think this might be an ugly game.
I know we have a recurring thing where we're like, this team is fighting for the number 1 overall pick, and I think the Lions are in the discussion right now.
Well, it's going to be very hard to catch up to Arizona. Arizona is like, imagine if Sam Bradford gets taken out due to injury or them
Sam
trying
Bradford gets hurt, they're not winning a game.
What if they get impatient and put Josh Rosen in?
It might happen.
Scary.
Sam Bradford, as great as he is, has put up 6 points in total this season. I think there are 2 field goals too.
Here's a really scary thought. What if somehow they don't put Rosen in? He's not ready. Something happens. Maybe he twists an ankle, and Mike Glennon comes walking on the field.
And they start winning.
Oh. By the way, I'm a Mike Glennon fan. I like Mike Glennon. I think he's a good backup, but I don't think he should be a starter. And I think that Mike Glennon in that offense would get pummeled. What? That O-line isn't great, bro.
Yeah.
And Mike Glennon likes to take 5-step dropbacks. Mike Glennon likes to hold on to the ball and gunsling. He'll get pummeled.
All right, our next matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers, your wife's favorite team, up against your favorite team.
We are a house divided this week, but I truly believe that as my webcam goes out there, I'm sorry, guys. I truly believe the Bucs are going to win this one, man. There's a lot of drama in Pittsburgh, and I feel like they could steal a win here that they probably don't deserve. They're playing at home. Could happen.
I mean, on your end, I hope the Steelers win for in the house.
Yeah.
But Tampa Bay Bucks, I can't. Fitzmagic is tearing up the league. It doesn't make any sense. You know, historically, he either throws 2 touchdowns in a game, or games he doesn't have 2 touchdowns, he throws for more than 300 yards. The past 20 starts.
Yeah, I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick is a terrific fit for this offense. I think the offense that Tampa Bay is running right now is very well suited for Fitzpatrick, considering he can get the ball where it needs to be, and he's shown that he has great timing with Deshaun Jackson. He has timing with Deshaun Jackson that I don't think Jameis Winston had quite mastered last year. So I don't know, man. I don't think Jameis is coming back.
Little trivia.
Not yet.
Not including last night's game. Do you know who's leading the league in receiving yards?
I believe it might be Deshaun Jackson.
It is Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah.
Deshaun Jackson is actually 3 yards behind Jarvis Landry, which is in first. He took it from this matchup. So if D-Jax gets 3 yards, he'll take his mantle back, which is kind of weird. The top 5 right now is Jarvis Landry, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, and Brandon Cooks. It's a lot of speedsters. And then do you know who leads the league in rushing yards? Which is also a surprise.
I'm trying to think. I should know this.
It'll surprise you. Actually, the top 5 will probably surprise you.
I mean, I don't know.
It's Matt Breida.
That's believable. He's had good game after good game.
Well, it's Carlos Hyde counting this week. Matt
Yeah.
Breida through 2 weeks. Top 5 there is Isaiah Crowell, Philip Lindsay, Joe Mixon, Matt Breida, and Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Which no top elite tier. You're gonna throw Joe Mixon into elite tier, but
And Le'Veon Bell wants how much money?
so you know.
Because all those guys were attained pretty easily.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, running backs are easily the
Philip
production
Lindsay
is easily
fourth.
replaced.
He was third before last night, and he was an undrafted rookie. He is an undrafted rookie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, man, running back, it's not quarterback, and you can't go and say I want running back and wide receiver 2 money, which is what Le'Veon Bell's agent has literally asked for. But anyway, sorry, side rant.
So I think that's gonna be it for DCD episode number 12. Bit on the shorter end compared to the last couple of weeks. Trying to contain it because we kind of got a little out there. Didn't really mention a lot of things, but before we leave, gotta always mention the Red Sox are amazing. They clinch the AL East. Do you have anything you want to plug at the end?
Same thing I always do. You can buy our t-shirts. Link's always in the description. That'd be pretty cool if you want to do that. And then also check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, you name it. Our audio-only downloads have been a little low lately, so, come on, pick it up, guys. And then finally, if you really want to do us a huge favor, and we'll give you a shout-out because I'm about to give a shout-out to one person who did this. If you leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, I will give you a shout-out and a fun fact about you that only I know. And if I don't know one, I'll just make one up. So, Bobanot, huge shout-out to him. Thank you for the 5-star review on iTunes. I really appreciate it. And Bobanot has his own channel. Go check it out on YouTube. You can find it. If you go to my channel, if you go to purpleswordfish.com, he is on my main page. You can go find his YouTube channel there. Tremendous Madden player, tremendous strategist in Madden. But fun fact that only I know about Bobanot. Well, ATH knows this too. His brother Ian is even better than him in Madden.
Yep, it's fact.
Ian's
Proven
undefeated.
fact.
Undefeated. I played Ian one time. EA kicked me out of the game, and a message came up said, "You're not going to win anyway. We're just saving you time."
Like the performance thing, it did the very beginning.
Yeah, it's
you
like
need to have an option. It
dude,
instantly kicks you.
Dude, this game, you're way out of your
The
league.
servers
Do you want to
couldn't
quit now?
Process how much better Ian is at Madden.
This dude's about to flood you for 108 points. But yeah, thank you, Bobanot, for that. And if you want to get your own shout out, all you gotta do, go on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. I will find a fact about you.
You have any videos coming out on your channel this week? Any fun pre-recorded videos?
Weekend League, and then should be finally finished up Ukulele, I promise. And then I got a World of Warcraft series that I've already recorded the video, and that'll be up. And then I've got this really fun Madden idea that I've been kicking around for a while. So that'll be pretty fun.
I have a new little side show, television time show, starting that up, and it's kind of just me talking about sports by myself.
And I watched it, and it was good.
Yeah,
check it out.
I try to throw in some Madden or stuff. I tried some tinkering, put Madden gameplay for stuff to watch, stuff like that. Hopefully people enjoyed. Other than that, I may be doing some Call of Duty Modern 2 on my second channel, Nuke with Every Gun in the Game. I've been trying to do this for about like a month since the game came backwards compatible. May finally get a video out, but that's gonna be all from us. That's your duo episode number 12. Deuce.